Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer board game review, and today's game up on the tabletop is called Castle Combo by Pandasaurus Games. Castle Combo is a 2 to 5 player game where players are going to be basically choosing between two different locations, the village location and the castle location. They will be selecting a card from where the villager stands and purchasing it, and then playing it into their 3x3 grid, a total of 9 cards. And after all players have a 3x3 grid completely filled, you're going to score that grid, and whoever has the most points is the winner. The points will be based on the cards, any abilities the cards might have, as well as your keys, leftover key tokens that are going to be in play at the end of the game. Do you have the most points? If so, you're the winner. It's a grid-based management tableau game. Let's go ahead and talk about how to set the game up, how to play, and of course, my review. To set the game up, the first thing that you do is determine the number of players playing the game. There's no real unique setup instructions for more players, but each player is going to get 15 coins and 2 keys to start off with, so take that and give those to each of those players, and set the rest of the keys and the coins aside within reach for all players to grab. Then you're going to take the 2 decks of cards, the castle deck and the village deck. Shuffle these decks separately, and then deal out 3 cards in kind of a layout form so that it kind of forms a market of a 2x3 grid, for the castle being on top and then of course the village being on bottom. Take the villager and place it right next to the villager deck so that it is kind of in a row equal to the village deck. Then go ahead and place this game aid/icon card somewhere within reach of any player that might need it, as well as of course the scoring sheet, which you'll use at the end of the game. Set aside the rulebook, but just in case you need it, make sure it's in reach, and then you're ready to begin, having the first player begin by selecting one of the cards. Okay, so playing Castle Combo. Well, the first thing that you're going to do is determine if you'd like to spend a key. You can spend a key to do one of 2 things. Option A is you can remove all of the adjacent locations cards and then refill it with new cards. I can spend my key, get rid of these 3 village locations because that's where the villager is, and then place out 3 new ones, thusly giving you more options to choose from as opposed to the ones that you previously had. Maybe you couldn't afford them, or you didn't like them, they didn't work with your grid, so now you have 3 new ones. If you don't want to do that, you can spend a key instead to simply move the villager. You'll move it either up if it's down or down if it's up, and now you have 3 unique new options to select from as opposed to having to refill them. And those are the 2 main aspects for keys that you're going to be using in the game, either to remove/refresh one of the locations cards, or to move the villager to select new cards on your turn. Then it's time to select a card. To select a card, you're simply going to have to pay for its cost. The cost is in the upper left-hand corner of the card. This here says 2, it's a bombardier, and you have to pay 2 currency in order to take the bombardier. Sometimes cards might have things like 0 currency, where you can just play the card for free. At other times, you will not be able to afford the card. Maybe you don't have any coins. If you don't have any coins and there's no card there that's free, you can select to take the card face down. Yes, the card doesn't have any abilities or real use in your grid. Sometimes it might, but in general it might not. But you are going to gain currency for taking the card face down. 6 coins and 2 keys. So if you have nothing else to do, you can't afford the card, you can't move to a location that has a card you can afford, you take the card face down. So in this case, we have the first turn of the game, which means that I can afford pretty much anything. So I could spend 3 coins and I can take this sculptor. I paid my 3 coins for the sculptor, and now I'm going to be placing it on my grid. But before we do that, let's talk about the card. Upper left-hand corner is the cost of the card. Upper right-hand corner are the symbols associated with the card. These symbols will take effect in actions and end-of-game actions for cards in the game. Right next to the name of the character in the middle left-hand side is going to be a symbol or not. If there's a villager symbol, you'll move the villager at the end of the round. If there's not, you'll leave the villager. Then you have the art, and right down below it is the action that you take when you place the card down. This one here says that you gain a key for every purple symbol that you have on your grid. So the more purple symbols, the more keys you get just by playing this character here. And at the very bottom is going to be the end of game trigger. It's typically going to be victory points that you will score. In this case, it says for every coin in this bag that you place in there, you will gain 2 victory points. And I'll talk about how this works kind of in the review and whatnot, but basically you'll be storing coins in these specific bags and you'll gain points based on the ones that you score. Your first card that you play can go pretty much anywhere. You'll just place it down to start your grid. But that card is where you're going to be placing additional cards throughout the game to create a 3x3 grid. Once you've placed your card out, you've done the action, you're then going to resolve your turn. Was there a villager symbol? Yes, there was. And are there cards missing from the grid here? Yes, there is. You'll refill it with the card based on the deck. So in this case, the village card was taken, so you'll place a new village card face up to fill in the slots. So there's always going to be 6 cards for each player on their turn. And you'll pass. That's it. That's the entire game. The next player is then going to decide if they want to use a key to either move the villager or refresh their little area, purchase the card, then they're going to go ahead and do the action of the card when they place it down on their field, and then at the end of the game they'll score the bottom, refill, move the villager if necessary, and pass. And eventually what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a grid that looks something like this. And I'll go ahead and just make up one randomly. So this is what your grid is going to look like at the end of the game. Once this happens, you're going to want each player to also complete their 3x3 grid. It might be the case that there are face down cards or they're all face up. You may or may not have extra coins left over, and you might have extra keys. If you have extra coins left over, you can place these coins into the little bags that I was talking about. These bags are then going to generate you victory points. If for some reason you have extra coins left over, they're not useful anymore and you won't score points with them. However, keys are going to net you victory points and possibly give you additional victory points, like having this Templar, which says that you get 1 point for every key that you still have in your supply. So there are ways to gain more victory points with keys than coins, especially if you have no bags on your specific cards here. And that's the game. You'll score up each of the bottom portions of each of your cards. You'll write it down on this little cheat sheet here, which has an indicator for each of the different locations. Like, okay, score the top left, score the top middle, score the top right. And you'll do that for each of the cards you have and for each of the players, whether you're playing with either 2 or 5 players. Tally them all up, and whoever has the most points is the winner. And that's the game, Castle Combo. Well, let's get into the different abilities of cards and, of course, what I think about the game. Castle Combo is a grid management or tableau management game, basically purchasing cards from rows, placing them down into your 3x3 grid, and scoring either points when you place them down, or I should say coins or keys, and scoring points at the end of the game based on the criteria of the card. We'll talk about some of the cards first before we get into my review so I can discuss a few interesting ones. Like, for instance, this one will score you 2 points for every orange symbol that is adjacent to this card on your grid. So if I have an orange symbol up here, and one down here and one over here, that's 3 symbols. 3 times 2 is 6 points. And you can score them based on how you place this in your grid. If you place it in the bottom right-hand side of your grid, there's only 2 different areas that you can place cards adjacent to it, so you'll score possibly less points. Whereas putting maybe something like this guy here, this Templar, 1 point for every key in kind of the bottom section is probably going to be better for you, because you'll get 1 point for every key. It has red symbols. Perhaps you'll have a guy that gives you points for having red symbols adjacent to him. So where you place on your grid matters, and of course, like what abilities you place there as well. There's also unique abilities in the game that'll score you basically additional coins in a lot of cases and keys, like 1 point or 1 coin for every orange of 1 neighbor, or you can take 2 keys. So if I select Callie as my neighbor and she has 4 orange dudes, I can take $4. If I don't like that, I can just simply take 2 keys. Or if nobody has any orange characters, I can just simply take the keys and utilize him for his special ability, which is to gain 3 points for every character as red symbol that's above or below him. There's other characters that are going to be based on where you place them in the grid, like as long as you place this guy in the bottom row, he'll score you 5 points at the end of the game. It's not as many points, but it's a little easier to complete. Maybe you need a specific orange character to be in one of those areas, so he's a good pickup. The different decks are going to have different varieties of characters. Obviously, the castle deck will have more of the nobles, the royalty, in which case the cost of these cards will be higher. Whereas the bottom village deck is going to have a lot more cheap guys like sad carpenters and squires and peasants or potters. These guys are going to be the guys in the 0 to 5 range or 4 range, and the castle will have the characters in the 3 to 7 range. So if you want a more expensive character, you can choose to spend a key to move your villager up to the castle to purchase these guys if you've got a lot of money. But if you don't have a lot of money, you can move down. It's rare in which case, you'll actually be placing face down cards on your tableau. It's going to be mainly like, I can't afford to do anything, I don't have anything to do, so I'll just take the currency. But it is a good option. It does happen on the occasion. But I strongly recommend you don't try and specifically select face down cards unless you have a lot of abilities that kind of score you points for doing so. This guy scores me 5 points for every face down card adjacent to him. Maybe it might be worth it if that guy exists, and a guy that gives you a lot of points for keys or something like that. Another cool thing about this game too is there are some characters where right under the art, you're going to see a little banner, and that banner has a -1 when it comes to either the village or the castle or both areas. If it has both banners, it's for both, but it'll be a cost reduction for purchasing. You want to play these guys first on your field so that all your stuff will cost less throughout the game. Playing it last is probably not going to be as beneficial for you, but there are ways to reduce the cost of the characters as you purchase them throughout the game. 9 spots means 9 turns, which means the game is quick. This is a speedy tableau management, tableau placement game, and so it's fairly simple. This game reminds me of a game called Battle Goats. Battle Goats is a game where you kind of draft cards, and then after you've drafted the cards, so, like a regular draft, you're then going to go ahead and take those cards and kind of form a secret grid. And then each player is gonna, one at a time, be like flipping over one of their cards and attacking somebody else's card, and then revealing that card and being like, oh, okay, this did 5, this did 4 damage, I killed your guy, or there's an ability, and you're basically trying to eliminate all your players' like cards on their field based on what cards you're attacking with, or maybe you're looking to defeat one specific card. But it has that kind of a grid management system where you're trying to combo unique cards with other cards to make those cards stronger. The dragon does 5 damage. However, when it's adjacent to the knight, it does 1 or 15 damage or something like that. So now my dragon's way more strong. I can hit something that's big like your castle wall or something. And it feels kind of like that game. And I love Battle Goats. This is obviously different. This is more about scoring points and creating the best grid possible. But it definitely falls in that type of tableau management category. And I really, really liked Castle Combo. I love the light feeling of the game where you're simply selecting cards that you have available to you. You have the option to kind of get rid of things. I always love games that let you remove cards and like look at new ones. More options is always better. And so you don't really ever feel like you're completely stuck in a corner. And if you do feel like that, it's probably because you spent way too much money early on and you like drained your resources to the point where you no longer have currency and you have to pay for it. So it always feels kind of like it's your fault when you have to make a bad decision. It doesn't feel like there's no options here because there just happen to be no good cards for you. Every card works with other cards, and all the cards have a lot of synergies with each other. The placement matters. The actions matter, when you place them matters, and for a very light game, I love that feel. I love the fact that I can teach you how to play this game. We can go through it one time, takes 15 to 25 minutes, and you're very likely to want to play again. If you like tableau management games, if you like combos and like stylistic choices with kind of a light, fun feel, then Castle Combo is going to be the game for you. This is a really great light game. I've played a lot of light games over the last 3 or 4 months, and this is by far my favorite of the bunch. I really, really, really like this light feel. It's not heavily strategic. It's not like mind-bendy. I don't feel like I'm suffering from a puzzle when I play this game. I know this guy is the guy who you want to place next to red guys to score additional points. If I don't have red guys, I don't want to use this guy. There's no point in it. Or I know this guy isn't going to go to the bottom of my grid. I don't have a space at the bottom where I can't place this guy in the bottom of my grid. What's the point in using the guy, right? And so you kind of can separate which characters are more useful for you too. Okay, I have green guys, so this guy's pretty good, but I also have a lot of keys, so this guy is good. If I use this guy, he's 5, or this guy's 4. Maybe I can't afford him. Maybe this puts me at 0 currency, and so that's where the choices start to make a difference in Castle Combo. Overall, it's an excellent game. If you like these type of games, if you felt like, oh, this might be a fun game, then this is going to be one that you'd want to definitely check out. If you don't like something that's more on the light side, something that's a little more simplistic in nature, or a quick style tableau management game, you want something a little more heavy like It's a Wonderful World, that has a little bit more of an engine, a combo strategy, that's going to be more on the heavier, deeper side thinking game than this one is. This is definitely more on the lines of like, 8-year-old, up to like probably a teenager that really need, like, that's the comprehension skill. You can play as an adult, it's perfectly fine, and there is strategy to that. Like, you're not gonna feel like, oh, it's just for little kids, but it doesn't get any more complex than as I explain it to you. Doesn't matter though, this game's excellent, I'm keeping it, and you can decide for yourself what you want to do. Thank you guys for watching another Unfiltered Gamer board game review for the game Castle Combo by Pandasaurus Games. If you're interested in picking this title up, there's a link down below in the description where you can go ahead and check it out. And if you're feeling slightly generous, you may, if you would like, subscribe to the channel. Please, please do, please. Please, I need all of you. Please, I'm drowning here without subscriptions. My life is meaningless unless I get subscriptions from you. So please hit that button. If you want to talk about the game itself, let me know if you've played it before. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I don't care. You can post whatever you want in the comments. Tell me what you feel. Do you like my t-shirt? Go ahead. You can also join us on live streams. We do a live stream every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. PST, where you can go ahead and watch us play games just like Castle Combo. So you can see a game just specifically for yourself to determine if it's something you want to play. I think that's the best way to determine if you're gonna want to play a game. If you're like not a completely if you're a modern gamer and you know what these games are like, then you'll probably know based on my review, but seeing the game in action is always gonna be more useful than hearing whatever I have to say. So there you go, it's a 6:30 p.m. PST or 7:30. Yeah, I got a baby, it's 7:30 now, so you can, yeah, you can understand that. She goes to bed at 6:30, it takes a while. So, all right, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I look forward to creating another Castle Combo with Pandasaurus and hopefully you next time.